What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, J-Real sliding on your timeline. We got a video for my dog, Ty Learn, one of the greatest content creators out right now. He be doing good Ben 10 vids, great variety vids on kind of like power scaling in a way, which I'm not too into people that like make power scaling like a huge thing and like make it weird, but he is a great balance of doing it well. As always, make sure y'all like. I'm pre-firing the like. It's my boy. You know the content gonna be good. Shoot, feel free to pre-fire a like on this video right now. And subscribe for more content and make sure you hit that bell to get your notifications. But yeah, this is Invincible's strongest non-Viltrumites ranked by Tyler.
The Viltrumite race within Invincible is without a doubt the most powerful race of individuals in the universe. However, even despite this, as the series progressed and superheroes began to adapt, it's clear that there are actually quite a few characters that can either harm or even kill Viltrumites despite not being one themselves. Yeah. So this video will not only be going over the strongest non-Viltrumite characters, but also ranking them in terms of power. Meaning towards the end of the video, I'll be talking about the strongest guys, but starting off, we'll be talking about the weaker ones. This first group of characters
don't ever show Tech Jacket while saying weakest. I don't remember too much of him from the comics, but I remember he was my guy.
Not only are capable of reacting and even tagging low-tier Viltrumites, but they were even able to draw blood or even be nuisances to stronger ones. And in this first group of characters are the Guardians of the Globe, the superheroes that helped in the Invincible War, like Wolfman and Rex, along with Adam Eve. And specifically, I'm going to be mentioning Red Rush, War Woman, and Immortal in the show, along with Eve in the show and comics. These characters are what I consider the low-tier Viltrumite level characters, as I know some of you may say that Immortal and Eve could be higher because they can do this to stronger Viltrumites. Immortal, however, I think is not nearly as strong as you guys think, and I also think he is below Eve.
He said Immortal's not as strong as you guys think. Nobody likes the Mortal. Nobody cares about him at all.
Eve in both the comics and show. Immortal not only is weaker than a holding back Mark who loses to mid-tier Viltrumites, but we even see him losing to one of the weakest Mark variants with the assistance of the other Guardians. I honestly got them over Immortal due to their performances, but we'll just be mainly mentioning Eve for now because Wolfman fought for a total of 8 seconds while Rex managed to kill an Invincible variant while also killing himself. And this Eve that I'm specifically mentioning that is above Immortal and in this low tier is her with the mental block, as without it she's just pretty much the strongest character within the series. But even disregarding her full powered state, she's noted to be Earth's best defense aside from Mark, so she should upscale from the Invincible War characters who perform better than Immortal like Wolfman and Rex. And if you don't want to use the comic interpretation and just use the show interpretation, Adam Eve does have some decent feats against Conquest, and if you want to say that she did no damage to him, this would unironically just completely dismantle Immortal. Anywho, honorable mentions in this tier would be Black Samson when he's amped against Omnipotus, as he was the only one to do anything when Eve and Immortal were both present, but he only goes into this state once and can never access this power again. And alongside him is Powerplex, specifically when he's fighting Mark, as his scaling differs depending on who he fights. But we do see in the show that he was somehow able to kill an Invincible variant. Next up, we have the mid-tier Viltrumite characters who, in my opinion, are characters strong enough to kill low-tier Viltrumites with ease. In this tier, we have Tech Jacket, Dinosaurus, Null, Mr. Lou, and Space Racer. Now, Tech Jacket would manage to put down an alternate Mark during the Invincible War based on...
Tech Jacket is my dog. What? He's like the Blue Beetle of this verse.
What we see during the arc. However, during his solo comic series, we get to see him not only taking down the Mark that he fought in the Invincible War, but even atomize 2 versions of Mark and come out alive. We even see him gain a 10 times amp on top of this, and he'd go on to combat Null, a character who can fight a Galactus type character who apparently eats worlds. Tech Jacket as well can throw a ship into the sun, which calculations have this ranging from small to decently interplanetary. I think small planetary is a little bit of a reach though, considering the stronger Viltrumites that are in this tier of power are characters that Tech Jacket just simply can't keep up with. He is confirmed to be weaker and slower than both Mark and Nolan, the same ones who could blow up Viltrum. But this doesn't mean he's weak by any means. I still think he would upscale from, let's say, Thrag's statement of 37 Viltrumites being able to destroy Earth. So although he is below the stronger Viltrumites, he himself is still ridiculously powerful. Dinosaurus is in a similar tier with Tech Jacket, as they both are below Mark by a decent margin, and Dinosaurus never fights Mark going all out, and when he does, he just easily gets killed by him, and he quite literally breaks his teeth hurting Thrag. Meanwhile, Omni-Man and Mark can at least draw blood on him. I'd say Dinosaurus beats the initial appearance of Tech Jacket, but I think by the time Tech Jacket gets his upgrades, I think he's stronger than
See, that's what I'm saying. this is like power scaling that's not annoying because it's not like, oh, this character did da da da. So now they're technically greater than the concept of death. And then because this person fought them while they were like barely any weak, like he's not doing, he's not making leaps of logic. This is all making sense and it's chaining well to suit his purpose of saying this character is this strong.
Dinosaurus, with Null being above him because he's able to mid-diff this upgraded tech jacket, and I think Mr. Lu should be above everybody here considering he was able to fight the tech jacket that was able to kind of fight Null, although he did lose, plus Invincible along with every single other superhero on Earth. Invincible as well admits that his insides are definitely tougher than his punches, and we know in his weaker forms he got into scuffles with Nolan, and the only reason Nolan was able to beat him was by taking on Mr. Lu. Invincible in his weaker appearances can't literally do anything to Mr. Lu. The only other character that has any chance on taking out Mr. Lu is Space Racer. He not only fought Nolan in the past, but his gun has been the one thing that Viltrumites have yet to find a counter to. This gun not only destabilized planet Viltrum, but it's even capable of shutting down stars. The only reason he isn't any higher on the list is due to the other characters unironically being too fast for him to just spam his ray gun like he's playing Call of Duty Zombies. In the next tier, we have Robot by the end of the series. Now, I know some of you are probably going to mention in a basic one-on-one he probably loses to a lot of characters below him, which I do agree with. However, the robot we're talking about is the one by the end of the series. Not only has he developed countermeasures for the entire superhero force on Earth, but he's even made precautions against Viltrumites and realistically has the best versatility and means to bring down any threat that he comes across. However, there are two characters that aren't on Earth that are
yes, sir. That boy Battle Beast, who is a beast, and the boy Alan himself,
far stronger than Robot. In the Elite Plus tier, we have Battle Beast and Alan. These two not only defeat Viltrumites by the end of Season 3, but we see them putting up crazy numbers in the Viltrumite war. These guys are quite literally one-shotting Viltrumites that anyone in the previous tier would be scrapping with, or are just fighting multiple Viltrumites at once and are just completely fine.
Oh my
Alan
God.
as well absolutely are just fighting
what is that panel, bro?
multiple Viltrumites.
Why they got her caked up while she getting her butt whooped, bro? What's happening here?
At once.
Is that Thula? The one with the knife that got packed up by Mark?
And are just completely fine. Alan as well absolutely just whams Nolan in the comics, and he somehow survives another near-death experience that should have given him an even bigger power boost. As Alan's whole thing is that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I think Alan with this increase is arguably even stronger than Battle Beast himself. But I'm curious to see what you guys think, as regardless, I believe these two are very relative. Do you think Alan could have gotten strong enough to close the gap and even make one between him and Battle Beast, or is it not
I don't know, man.
enough due to Battle Beast's feats against Thrag? A lot of you may mention the fact that Battle Beast didn't even use his weapons against Thrag, which could imply Battle Beast is superior to Thrag, and Alan did admit that Battle Beast was pretty much the only chance they have against him, but then again, Alan also gets another increase. So you guys let me know down in the comments what you think. If you want to say Robot could jump and overwhelm them, I mean, sure, but strength-wise and having what it means to bring down a Viltrumite, these guys can get the job done the easiest. Also, an honorable mention in this tier would be that alternate baby monster girl that apparently fought Conquest. I just thought it'd be funny to mention because technically this version of Monster Girl is a Viltrumite slayer. Now, other than Adam Eve without her mental block, the strongest character within Invincible would be Omnipotus, since technically he can draw power from the universe over time. And I think I just about covered every single character that can take out or at least kill a Viltrumite. I already know I'm gonna forget about one character, like, oh, what about that golden robot that Mark said he would have struggled with? It's technically a Viltrumite.
I don't think that's crazy. Mentioning like, see, that's the only thing about Power Scaling where it's like leaps in logic with characters like that, where like he's limitless. But I don't even see it as like a crazy scale because it literally would be. Again, no leaps in logic. It's just following a strain of thinking. It makes sense that it leads you there.
Viltrumite tier, and I think Doc Seismic would be above the low tier but in between the mid tier, as he pretty much just took out the heroes that I was mentioning are at the top of the low tier Viltrumites. Anywho, that's my ranking of the strongest non-Viltrumites. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you want any other Invincible related rankings, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yes, sir. The learners. Shout out to my dog, Tyler. It's a great vid. Always knows what the chopper PFP. As always, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. That's your boy Sliding onto another topic, floating on it. dabbling with it. We mess with Invincible. We mess with the Invincible content. But that'll be all for me. Peace.